Sometimes you're so prepared that you do all the graphics before you find out a match has been postponed. Hello there, hope you're having a great Wednesday. What is up, guys, and welcome to FPL Today and the FPL Wildcard project, where we pick a wildcard team every single game week to try and help those of you playing your wildcard progress in the FPL ranks and then compare how we do each game week against each other. So if you enjoy this type of content on the channel, you guys have been absolutely smashing it already, but the support needs to continue. So please hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for FPL, and let's get straight into this video. So, game weeks 10 was the following. We had Martinez in goal with Chilwell, Cancelo, Cresswell, Sterling, Salah, Jota, Grealish, Bamford, Calvert-Lewin and Jamie Vardy as our first 11, with Souček, Kilman and Lewis on the bench. Yes, some glaring issues there, isn't there? Ladies and gentlemen, we have not only the issue of this week coming up and Martinez, Grealish and Steer, but we also have the disappointing news that Cancelo didn't start in game week 10, which was very disappointing indeed. Sterling didn't start either. And to top it all off, the person I bring in as the cheap substitute that's guaranteed minutes and has played since game week 4, Kilman, doesn't start either. So we have plenty of players in this side that didn't start in game week 10, and then 3 additional ones that won't feature in game week 11 because of the postponement of the Aston Villa versus Newcastle game because of the current spread of the pandemic in the Newcastle team. So we have to make some changes, and unfortunately I've already done all the graphics for this video, so wait till the end of the video to see the changes I make, but I will discuss everything as we go along. With that being said though, Salah was a decent pick with an assist. Jota got a goal in their game against Brighton, which ended up 1-1. Grealish also did very well in the game against West Ham United, getting a goal as well. Chilwell getting a clean sheet and Jamie Vardy getting an assist. So the team didn't do terribly, but it isn't the best start to a wild card at all. The team ended up with 48 points in total, yes, the exact same amount as Game Week 9 team got in its first game week. However, that doesn't put it in good standing compared to the other teams that's average is higher than 48 over the game weeks they have been involved in. If we look at the best teams I've done so far, Game Week 8 is the best side with 170 points in the last 3 game weeks, giving it an average of 56.666 recurring as its average points. And that team came in at 98.7 million, which will give you so much cash to be able to upgrade it in places you need to right now. The second best team so far on the Wildcard project is Game Week 7 side, who managed to get 49 points this game week, the second highest score of any side at this game week. And that team has an average of 55.5 points. And that would have cost 99.5 million, currently on 222 points in total. And then the highest scoring team for this game week was a Game Week 9's team that managed to get 56 points, and that has put them on 104 points in total and an average of 52 points per game week. So Game Week 10's team has some catching up to do and some players that clearly aren't going to play, and there's nothing I can do about that now because we don't touch these sides and we just see how they would have done as we progress. So now it's time to move on to the Game Week 11 side, and we are starting off with the players we would have kept, and this is before we heard the news of the Newcastle versus Aston Villa postponement. And the players we would have kept from Game Week 10 side are Martinez in goal, Chilwell and Cresswell in defence, Jota and Grealish in midfield, and Bamford, Calvert-Lewin and Vardy up front. Now, of course, that will change at the end of this video, but let me just discuss the players I put into the 3 positions available and on the bench before we get to who I'd replace Martinez and Grealish with. So we start off with the defence, and we are bringing in Stuart Dallas from Leeds United, purely because I love the attacking threat this guy offers. Leeds United managed to keep a clean sheet against Everton, which was a surprise to me, to be fair, and although they do seem to concede a lot of chances, they also create a lot, and Dallas seems to be an out-of-position defender in that Leeds side, and their system is so fluid that any of their players could really turn up anywhere and potentially get you a goal or assist that could really benefit your game week. If we have a look at his stats over the last 6 game weeks, and apologies on the last video if it wasn't clear, but I nearly always do stats off of the last 6 game weeks unless said otherwise, we have 1 goal and 0 assists in the last 6 game weeks from 7 shots, 3 on target, 2 from inside the box, an XG of 0.50 and an XA of 0.68 with a goal involvement of 17%. Like I said before, Leeds aren't the greatest defensively, but they have been picking up clean sheets, which makes Meslier look like a good option as well. And Dallas has been played out of position a couple of times in a very fluid system. So I think Dallas is a good punt and someone that I can bring into this side and allow me to spend more in midfield and up front. So, who are we bringing in midfield? And the first person we're bringing in is a replacement for Raheem Sterling, and that man is Kevin De Bruyne. Now, I went with the cheeky punt of Raheem Sterling, and it didn't work at all. Kevin De Bruyne is the safe option into that Man City side, and they have, of course, returned to goal-scoring ways with their performance against Burnley in Game Week 10. Now, Kevin De Bruyne is a great player. We all know that. He could have even got some goals in that game. If we have a look at the stats, it's not really backed up just yet, but we're hoping for the upturn after that Burnley game to be significant in their performance. He's got 0 goals and 4 assists in the last 6 game weeks with 17 shots on goal, 3 on target, 7 from inside the box with 1 big chance. Expected goals at 1.30, expected assists at 2.63, and a goal involvement of 50%. Stats look much better, of course, after that Burnley game, and he seems to be the only player not affected by Pep Roulette at the moment. However, his lack of shots and big chances is still a concern for me at his price point of 11.7 million. If it was cheaper, I could maybe forgive the amount of assists potential over goal potential that he has. That being said, though, with the fixtures that Man City have, I think it's worth the punt going with Kevin De Bruyne as your Man City option for now. And despite the fact that sometimes when you watch him, he will look like he's playing deep, he has the creativity to get assists from absolutely anywhere. And when a player is that good quality, I'm not too fussed as long as they're creating when they drop deeper. And the man to go alongside Kevin De Bruyne is, of course, Bruno Fernandes, who right now, to me, seems like the player that you must own in your Fantasy Premier League side. And he has taken that spot from Mohamed Salah in my eyes. Now, I know what you're saying. No Mohamed Salah. He is back in the Liverpool starting 11. Did play against Brighton. Was unlucky not to score. However, this for Game Week 11 is my side with the plan, because I have enough money in the bank, and most of you should have enough money in the bank, to upgrade one of these midfielders to Mohamed Salah in Game Week 12, where his fixtures look significantly good enough to take advantage of Liverpool's run. So right now he's not there, but the plan is to bring him into this side if I was playing this properly. Now, if we have a look at Bruno Fernandes' stats, they speak for themselves. Bruno Fernandes is an absolute gem of an FPL player right now. 5 goals, 3 assists with 25 shots on goal, 11 on target, 10 from inside the box, and 5 big chances with expected goals at 3.91, expected assists at 3.05, and a goal involvement of 73%. He's become a talisman for Manchester United, always involved and can get points even when he's underperforming. And I just think at 10.8 million, he's significantly cheaper than Kevin De Bruyne, Raheem Sterling, Salah and Sadio Mane, and of course Aubameyang, and is better value for it, and probably would be better value even if he was the exact same price. We then look at the bench, and the bench is filled up with cheap options of Jamal Lewis, which unfortunately would be another thing we'd have to change, but I reckon overall you could keep Lewis in this side. And Ben White at 4.4 million. He's a nailed-on starter for Brighton, which is something I like about him, and he's most of the time going to be a bench player with the defence that I already have in place. And then Rafinha is also someone I've brought into the starting 11, and I do like the looks of. Now, what you could do is, unfortunately with Steer being the goalkeeper he is, you could change him for a playing goalkeeper and then still keep Martinez in goal, of course. And with Rafinha on the bench, he could, of course, come in for Grealish, and then you would be okay with this side, apart from the fact that Jamal Lewis isn't a playing defender for you, so you'd only really have Ben White as backup. However, if I was playing the wildcard, of course you don't want to leave yourself in that kind of situation necessarily. So currently the team sits at a value of 99.8 million, which means there's cash in the bank to spend for the majority of us. We're spending 33.3 million in goalkeeper and defence, 42.3 in midfielders, and 24.2 in the forwards. Now, we have cash to upgrade Grealish, but if we're wanting to go back to Grealish at any point, I don't think we want to significantly overspend in this position, because there's still the potential to use the cash in the bank to bring in Salah elsewhere, and also we'll be looking at bringing in a different goalkeeper as well with the backup that is connected to them. And the team would change to McCarthy in goal at 4.6 million from Southampton, just because who wants to spend transfers on goalkeepers? So in the long term, I think McCarthy is a decent pick. And Mahrez is the person that replaces Grealish, with the thoughts that you can go back to Grealish and Mahrez can be a punt for the fixture in game week 11 against Fulham. The bench would of course then have Steer replaced with the likes of Fraser Forster, just in case something happens to McCarthy. And you could also change Jamal Lewis to any cheap defender you like. Maybe take the risk on Kilman, because it is only one game where he hasn't actually featured for the full 90 minutes. Mahrez has just come off of a great performance against Burnley, and if he does continue this form into that Fulham game, you could be looking at a decent haul for a 1 or 2 game week punt out of Riyad Mahrez. Looking at his stats, he's got 3 goals in the last 6. Yes, we know they're all against Burnley, but it's 16 shots in total, 9 on target, 11 from inside the box with 2 big chances, and expected goals at 2.31, expected assists at 1.10, and goal involvement at 38%. So I think right now he's the perfect transfer in. You could of course go up to Son if you fancied him against Arsenal. You could look at someone like James Rodriguez as well, but depending on what else happens, if Mahrez continues to play in the Premier League, he could be a decent punt, with Man City having a very good run of fixtures. So guys, that is it for this video. So in the comments down below, let me know which players you would pick on your wildcard, and if you'd play your wildcard this week, if you have it, or if you're currently playing it. Also, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. I want to try and hit 17k subs by my birthday, which is this Friday, 4th of December. And we're only about, I think, 90-something away from hitting that landmark. And you guys have absolutely smashed it during this season. So thank you guys so much for that support. And I hope it does continue. And I hope I continue to bring you good content that you guys enjoy. Also, if you want to catch me on the FPL Wildcats, we're streaming on Thursday. Apologies if I seem in a bad mood on Thursday. I'm doing some crazy hours now. I'm back at work. So we'll see what kind of continuity I can keep on this channel and with the Wildcats. With all that being said, I'm not looking for any sympathy, apart from hitting that like button. I've been J&O, this has been FPL Today, and remember, it's all about the game.